So I have been caretaking my beloved. We're down to one car. So it's been a little challenging. So I'm going to rely on notes a little bit more today than I normally would. Notes are good. We like notes. Right? Sticky notes, my brain. I live, they're everywhere. I couldn't deal without sticky notes. But we have so much to be grateful here. We're in this beautiful chapel, surrounded by so much beauty, built with loving hands, by hand, Ron and his team, with beautiful landscaped gardens, thanks to Joyce and her Opelski team, and all the teamwork that happens here to create and maintain this beautiful space and the hearts that it contains. And we're surrounded by abundance. We have financial security. We have spiritual family and deepening friendships. Our families are healthy, and we have everything we need in every given moment. And we understand that by living in gratitude, we have more peace in our lives. We know that gratitude alters chemistry, that it changes our heart, that it can overcome anxiety and depression. We know that when we count our blessings that we're happier. We know that when we have an attitude of gratitude, that we're more present and receiving and accepting of what is. But today, I don't believe we've really come together to study gratitude. The research is in on gratitude, and we've been talking about it for a very, very long time. I believe we've come together to cohere and amplify the frequency of gratitude so that we can share it with the world, so that we can amplify that even more and take it out into the world and create even more of what this brings to us on a personal level. And I think that's especially important now at a time when so many people are facing inconceivable losses. How do we have gratitude in the face of inconceivable loss? How do we feel gratitude in the face of inconceivable loss? Because it is an emotion. And I know that gratitude is a field of energy. It's not a product of our brain, but of our hearts. And our hearts generate the largest electromagnetic field in the body. So gratitude is felt by the heart. So let's just take a minute and just be that, be in that. Can you feel it? Gratitude for this land, this earth that sustains us. And we've all experienced loss at some point in our lives. For myself, I believe it started really at the beginning when I was lost to my mother and given up for adoption. And because I was adopted, and what I was told was that I had a mother who couldn't afford to keep me. And because I was adopted into a family that had money, money was not important to me. What was important to me was love and holding, acceptance. And T. Harv Eker, in his book, Secrets of the Millionaire Mind, talks about that it's healthier, it's harder for a wealthy person who has inherited their wealth to hold on to it than it is for a poor person to build wealth. So on one hand, one is taking it for granted, and on the other hand, one is highly motivated to achieve it. Taking something for granted and being grateful for something cannot live in the same space. the one thing that I have never taken for granted is the gift of this life. And, you know, maybe that was because I was adopted, but I have always felt incredibly grateful for the gift of this life. I have never known the levels of anxiety and depression that make some people want to take their own lives. I was blessed with a wealth of gratitude. But I believe I never sank to that level of depression because of how grateful I felt just to be alive. So no matter what you might be facing, no matter what the world might be facing right now, or what personal losses you've experienced, or what someone in your family might be going through or experiencing, we have all been given the greatest gift of all, which is the gift of this life. When we look around and we see the abundance, and we stay in gratitude, and we stay in the beauty, and we walk in beauty, that's what we get to pay forward. Not only do we get to pay it forward, but we keep attracting more of it into our lives, and then we get to pay even more of it forward. And so you might ask, but what of all of the structures that are crumbling just now? You know, the lives that are being lost, or the personal loss that someone close to you might be experiencing. How do we feel gratitude when things fall apart? And what I have experienced is that, or what has worked for me, is to grieve deeply. To really allow myself to feel that and to empty out. And after I have emptied everything out, cried myself empty, or thrashed myself empty, or slept or not slept, or sometimes slept for what feels like forever, eventually I wake up, and just like the sun breaking through today, or after a thunderstorm, I give thanks. I fill that empty space with gratitude. But we really need to empty out first in order to fill ourselves up. And when we do, then we have something to give. We have even more to give, which in turn fills us up even more. In turn, giving even more away because we have more to give. In Buddhism, emptiness is also equated with openness. Or in other words, not fixating or holding on to anything. And Pema Chodron, in her beautiful little book, When Things Fall Apart, I just love this little book, Heart Advice for Difficult Times. So we know what we're talking about today is a matter of the heart. And she writes a lot about compassion, breathing in suffering, breathing out peace. And gratitude, like compassion, is an inside job. No one else can feel gratitude for you. No one else can express gratitude for you. No one owes us anything. No one owes me anything. And how can we feel grateful for what we have if we feel like someone owes us? When someone owes you something, then you're working at a deficit. If I felt like somebody owed me something, I would be working at a deficit. And I am so truly grateful for what I have in this moment. How can I feel like I'm entitled to anything more? When we think we are entitled, we wear ourselves out. We wear ourselves out trying to collect what we think we are owed. But that's how we've been programmed, right? In this world of consumerism, of needing more and wanting more and achieving more. But if I don't owe anyone anything, then I can give more freely to you and to myself. And this creates less resentment, because resentment and gratitude cannot live in the same space. Gratitude clears the space for us to have connection. and it's a place where no one is keeping score. We must be willing to give according to the law of reciprocity. This is spiritual law, and without expectation, because everything we give we give by choice. We give to others by choice, and they give to us by choice. I'm so grateful for the love and the respect that I have earned. I never take it for granted. No one has to love me. They do, because there's something special in me that touches them, just as I give my love freely to those who have touched me. So just as I am free to love someone else, so are they free to love me. And that something special is what I want to grow, so I can be loved even more. Because that was the one thing that in my family, I was in a family that we didn't touch. There was no touching or hugging. And I so wanted to be held and loved. But what I've learned is that, when I grow, that's something special in me that makes someone want to love me, that love is the seed and gratitude is the fertilizer. And even our suffering can lead to a realization that can help someone else unlock the key to their own suffering. Or at the very least, where we know that we're not alone. Let's give gratitude for what is yet to be discovered. And let's give gratitude for the hard stuff. It's really easy to give gratitude for the easy stuff, but we can give gratitude for the hard stuff too. The universe wants to make it easy for us, we make it hard. Have you ever noticed how when you're in alignment, when you're in gratitude, you're in alignment, you're in a good place, how much easier it is? So let's also be grateful when it's easy. There's another wonderful little book called The Big Leap by Gay Hendricks, and many of you may know him. He's a psychologist and a leader in the field of personal development. And he was also the producer on the Louise Hay movie, You Can Heal Your Life. And he also co-produced the Spiritual Cinema Circle. And some of you that have known Chuck and I long enough know that we produced a series, a Spiritual Cinema Circle series in Highlands for a while. And I love this man's work. He's done a lot to raise consciousness, but he's written this great little book called The Big Leap. And what he talks about in The Big Leap is the happiness bar. And much the way T. Harv in Secrets of the Millionaire Mind talks about a financial bar. And our happiness bar, just like our financial bar, is held in place by our values, our beliefs, our past experiences. Excuse me. And as soon as life starts to get really good, we start to feel a little too happy, bam, something comes in and has to sabotage it so we can bring that bar back down to what we're used to having in our life. We can only handle this much happiness. Don't get to feeling too good. Who do you think you are, right? Maybe we had that programmed into us. And he calls it the upper limit problem, or ULP, U-L-P, for short. So I know I had an upper limit problem. It's like every time, I got to feeling so good in my relationship with Chuck, and we were really happy, and we just did something really amazing, the next day I would have to blow something up. So I'm sure you can find examples in your own life of when things were going really good, and then, it was too good. Something happened to bring that bar back down. But we all have the abundance that we need to live the life of our dreams, or the life that we choose. But we need to believe that it's possible. We can achieve the life of our dreams because we believe it's possible. as I ask and believe, I receive. We don't believe it. I love these little quotes. We don't believe it because we see it. We see it because we believe it. And Dr. Joe Dispenza says, what you think, thank is what you get. And I'm going to talk a little bit more about his work in a minute here. But Oprah says, be thankful for what you have, you'll end up having more. If you concentrate on what you don't have, you will never have enough. And successful people will tell you that you can't have what you haven't named. If we name it, we'll claim it. And to do that, to not have named what it is that we desire is like steering a boat without a destination, without a desired destination. If you name it, you will claim it. So gratitude is an emotional field, a field of energy. We do not passively experience emotions. And according to Joe Dispenza, we actively regulate them. Gratitude is not passive, even if it does require great receptivity. You can't be grateful for something you haven't received. There's no faking gratitude. And receiving and feeling is an inside job. Just feeling gratitude, even if we don't share it, can unshackle us from toxic emotions, and when we do express it, it has a lasting effect on our brain. So we know this. And having a gratitude practice can help to raise our bar. Joe suggests writing a gratitude letter to your future self for all of the courageous decisions that you've made. So your brain, from a neurological perspective, doesn't recognize the difference between a memory of the past and a memory of the future. And because emotions create long-term memory, when we move out of emotions or memories that anchor you to the past and into elevated emotions of the future, because these are the emotions that you're creating by imagining your desired future, we create new neurological pathways. And this imprints the future into our brain, and we will become drawn to that. So back to these two main questions. How do we feel gratitude in the face of devastating loss? And how do we feel gratitude when things fall apart? It's very hard to feel gratitude if we're living in survival mode. It takes away our awareness of what is happening in this moment, in front of us, in the present moment. We could have 10 great things happening in our world, but instead we choose to focus on the one thing that's not working. And again, that's part of our survival mode mechanism, because we want to prepare for the worst scenario so it doesn't happen again. I'm sure you can relate. We've become conditioned to be dependent on our outer world to dictate how we feel in our inner world. And it seems like no matter how much we have in our outer world, we are always wanting and striving for more because we live in a world of consumerism, competition, that wants us to feel like we are lacking something. Feeling lack and feeling gratitude cannot exist in the same space. When we change our inner world, we transform our outer world. So how do we measure gratitude? We could look at people who are living in a third world country, and for them it could be getting a new pair of shoes or a clean drink of water. While those of us living in privilege complain about not having some perceived necessity. Complaining and gratitude cannot exist in the same space. So by stepping out of the present consciousness and creating an unknown experience in the future, as Joe suggests, we bring those elevated feelings into the present. Receive the present. It is a gift. I am so grateful for what I have in this moment. And the way to take yourself out of the current reality box is to go into another box. Where do you want to be? What do you want to experience? And if we start by giving gratitude, gratitude is the ultimate receivership. Then it prepares us. It fertilizes our soil so that we can receive our greatest good. Gratitude puts us in a state of receiving. And receiving, when we're in a state of receiving, is going to draw more to us. Have you ever felt how hard it is sometimes to receive something, to receive a gift, or to receive a compliment? I had to really practice this one because I grew up in a family who told me that I could not sing. Then, no, seriously, and then I married a musician who said, "You sing so out of key, would you please not sing?" He says, "You're a good guitar player, you have good rhythm, why don't you just play guitar?" I had asthma really bad as a child, and I didn't have enough breath to be able to sing and hold a pitch. So when, Spirit called me because I needed to express myself, music has been my healing, and it was a way for me to give voice to emotions that I did not otherwise have a voice for. And so, those first few times of singing in front of people were pretty embarrassing, but I just kept going because Spirit doesn't care. Spirit just wants us to raise our voice. And I kept going, and I kept going. And then people would come up to me and they would go, "Oh, you have such a beautiful voice." And I would just have to stop, and I still do. I would do this today. And I just have to take a deep breath and say thank you. Because you don't know how discouraged I was from doing that. So, I didn't necessarily feel that that was true or that I deserved that. And I know we all feel that way about, practice receiving a compliment when someone compliments you. It's a gift to them as well as a gift to you. So living in gratitude for the simple things is a practice that becomes a habit. And one of the most powerful gratitude practices I have ever experienced is this sweet little book called Path to Wealth by Mae McCarthy. And gratitude can create more wealth than we have previously imagined. And what the premise of the book, and she has a gratitude practice too, very much like Joe Dispenza, but the premise is that you decide what you want, and then you thank the universe in advance for guiding you to it. You express gratitude for what you already have and for all that you would like to receive as though you have already received it. It's a kind of goal setting with gratitude. And she has us write a gratitude letter with statements that support change in our belief systems and eliminates fear and doubt. It helps us stay focused on what we want. And she has us read those letters out loud. And what I experienced was that by writing and proclaiming, the feelings followed. She also has us express gratitude for the qualities of the Creator that we are grateful for, and affirm that we have those same qualities, since the Creator also made us. She teaches us to appreciate everyone as they are a link in the chain of good, a link in the chain of good for our highest good. So don't hesitate to tell someone how grateful you are for them. It's how we partner with the universe and make the Creator our partner in life. And I had a situation where I was running a business and I felt like I didn't have the support that I needed. So I was complaining, because complaining and gratitude can't live in the same space. And I was complaining that I didn't have enough support. I didn't even know that I was complaining. It was just like, why are the leaders going and supporting all of these other people when I've done all of this really hard work and I deserve to have that support, but I'm not getting it, blah, blah, blah. So I started writing this gratitude letter, and I gave thanks for what I wanted as if I had already received it. Thank you for the leaders who are giving me all the support that I need, for the leaders who have flown into my community and are willing to work with me and teach me and guide me. And I just wrote those letters. Within a week, I got 2 calls from 2 separate leaders who flew in from 2 separate states to help me in my business. This is a powerful practice, and it's so simple. Because the Creator is a universal power working on our behalf. Creator wants us to have what we desire so that we can be effective in the world and affect change, positive change. It is every one of our individual responsibilities to go after what we want, because nobody owes this to us. What good do you want most in life? What good do you want most in your life so you can have the most positive impact possible on those around you and those who you care about? And the way that we do this is through the heart, with love and gratitude. And this is how we change the world. Who knew that gratitude was such a powerful frequency? But that's why you're hearing and reading about it, and they're studying it, and we have neuroscience. It's like for real, you know, but we've known this. So the more that we can stay in that, and collectively, like we are today, the more it's going to ripple out and touch those around us and give them permission to live their lives in gratitude. So I would like to close with one of the prayers that I wrote in the letter and that I did in this practice. So you get it, and I invite you, I'm going to be doing this in the first person, but I invite you to bring it into your first person. Thank you, Creator, for all my good, including perfect health, wealth, and happiness, and the fulfilling use of my talents. Thank you for your love and wisdom, guiding and directing me to do that which is mine to do, and to receive the good that I desire. Thank you, Creator, for allowing me to look in the review mirror of my life and see how my past and any decisions I made were necessary for the good. For the good I am experiencing now and always. All my relations and all my endeavors are positively affected. And for this good and for so much more, I give great thanks. I now release these words to law, and it is done. And so it is. So thank you for letting me come and share with you today. May you be abundantly blessed with a wealth of gratitude in your life. And we have a song that we want to share with you. feel inspired, you can sing along. There's going to be some repeaty things. Thank you. I want to say thank you. Thank you. Thank you. 'Cause I'm so grateful. So grateful. Oh, grateful. I'm so grateful. So I want to say thank you for this day, Spirit. Thank you for this day. Thank you for this day, Spirit. Thank you for this day. This healing, this healing, this healing day. This healing, this healing, this healing day. Thank you for this day, Spirit. Thank you for this day. Thank you for this day, Spirit. Thank you for this day. This healing, this healing, this healing day. This healing, this healing, this healing day. Oh, thank you for this day, Spirit. Thank you for this day. Thank you for this day, Spirit. Thank you for this day. This beautiful, this beautiful, this beautiful day. This beautiful, this beautiful, this beautiful day. Thank you for my friends, Spirit. Thank you for my friends. Thank you for my friends, Spirit. Thank you for my friends. My wonderful, my wonderful, my wonderful friends. My wonderful, my wonderful, my wonderful friends. Thank you for this day, Spirit. Thank you for this day. Thank you for this day, Spirit. Thank you for this day. This healing, this healing, this healing day. This healing, this healing, this healing day. Thank you for this day, Spirit. Thank you for this day. Thank you for this day, Spirit. Thank you for this day. This beautiful, this beautiful, this beautiful day. This beautiful, this beautiful, this beautiful day. I want to say thank you. Thank you. I want to say thank you. Thank you. Oh, thank you. Oh, thank you. I want to say thank you. I want to say thank you. 'Cause I'm so grateful. I'm so grateful. 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 I'm so grateful. Grateful. So grateful. Grateful. I want to say thank you. Thank you. Just thank you. Thank you. I want to say thank you. Oh, thank you. Oh, thank you. I want to say thank you. 'Cause I'm so grateful. 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 I want to just say thank you now. Just thank you now. Thank you. Thank you now. Thank you now. Thank you now. Each and every day I'm gonna say thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. I think that's